So I thought maybe we would do some more creative, expressive art today. So again, you need a piece of paper. It can have lines on it. It can be construction paper. It can be printer paper. It can be whatever you would like. Again, you need either colored pencils, markers, paints, whatever you like to create with. The first thing that I would like you to do today as you start to create is I would like you to pick a color for ground. Let's say you're going to make a garden. What would you like to make your garden grow in? So you can either make it like in a box, like a flower box, or you could make it in the ground, or however you want. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it in the ground. So I'm going to have my ground. I'm using paint again because I think, like I told you last time, I really like to use water paints. I think they're fun. You can use another kind of paint too if you have it. I feel like that is a little more messy and time consuming for me today, so I'm just going to use my watercolor palettes that I like to use. So I'm going to make my garden or my dirt brown because when I think of a garden, I think about the earth and the soil and the area that I want my flowers to grow in. The next thing I want you to do after you get your garden or your box or your whatever it is that you're going to be planting in your garden, as soon as you get that colored, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to take a minute and I want you to think about your family. Who belongs to your family? Who's in your family? Everybody's family looks a little bit different. Everybody's family acts a little bit different. Everybody's family has different things that are important to their family. Some people live with their mom and dad. Some people live with just their mom. Some people live with their mom sometimes and their dad sometimes. Some people live with their grandmas and grandpas. Some people live with their aunts and uncles. Some people live with a guardian or somebody who let them come into their home and live with them. So everybody lives with different people. So when you think about your garden, your family that lives in your garden, I want you to first choose a flower or a color that's you. And I want you to make you at the center of your garden. Well, actually, it doesn't matter. You can put you wherever you fit into your garden. I'm going to use one of my favorite colors. I have two favorite colors, and I'm going to use both those colors on my flower, but I'm going to start with one of my favorite colors. So go ahead and make a flower that you feel represents you. Oh, I kind of messed up. I don't really like how that is looking right there, but that's okay. So make your flower. When I said I'm gonna use two colors, I want to make my flower head and petals one color, and then I want to make my stem another color. So I'm gonna use Can you hear the train in the background? I live like 2 blocks up from the train, but you can still hear it when it goes around. And you can put as much detail into your flower as you want. Like I said, I want mine to have more than one color just because I like to paint and I like colors. But you can also make it all one color, whatever you would like. Now, who's the second person that's in your family, or who is somebody else that is in your family garden that is important to you? It might not be the most important, just another person that is important to you. I want you to go ahead and add a flower for them. And I want you to keep adding flowers for each person that is important and that is in your flower garden. Sometimes the people that are in our gardens and that are in our families maybe you wouldn't guess would be there because maybe they're not really related to us, but they are in our family a lot. So maybe it's a babysitter, maybe it's a grandma, maybe it's someone who you spend a lot of time with that's really important in your family. So I want you to continue to make your garden filled with the people that are most important and a big part of your family. Maybe you have a baby in your family. If you have a baby and you want to make a baby, you can make a really small one. Or maybe you have a puppy that's part of your family that maybe isn't, and that has just always been a part of your family and is really important. You can still add your puppy or your kitty, you can add your pets. You can make them either as flowers or you can make them as the pets that they are. Because sometimes our pets are in our gardens, aren't they? Because they're important to us. So that's up to you. But go ahead and keep on adding. I'm going to give you some time to do this. I don't know that I'm going to finish mine because if I should finish all of mine because maybe this video will get too long. But maybe that's okay. Maybe we'll do a long video today. So we'll keep adding the flowers to the garden. And yes, boys can be flowers, girls can be flowers, animals can be flowers. It's not a boy or a girl thing. It's just flowers in our garden. Got a little too much water on this one. It's kind of making a mess. Sometimes that happens, doesn't it? Sometimes our projects that we're working on, they end up a little messier than we planned. And you know what? That's okay. Because sometimes life is messy. Sometimes our families are messy. Sometimes things happen and that's not what we planned, but it still happens, right? Don't want to forget anybody in my family. Boy, that'd probably hurt somebody's feelings. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And you don't have to rush through it. You can take as much time as you need. Make your flowers just the way that you want them. When you have all of your flowers made in your garden, I want you to think about things that are really important in your family. When you think about what makes you grow and what makes you feel important and beautiful and loved, what are those things? Think about one thing that you feel is the most or one of the most important things in your family. What is your foundation? I want you to think about that and I want you to write it in your garden where your soil is. Because in our soil is where our foundation is and where our plants grow from. They have to be in there in order for them to grow into big flowers. So think about what that would be and write it. If you don't really understand what I'm asking, it would be like love, or maybe it would be faith, or maybe it would be kindness. What in your family is the most important thing that makes you feel like you can grow? The next thing I want you to do is I want you to make a sun. Because flowers need sun. They need that sunshine, right? Most of them do. Some flowers maybe don't need as much sunshine as other flowers do, but the sun is important. It is important for warmth. It is important for vitamin D. It's important for just making us feel warm and help us to grow. So when you think about your family and you think about what makes you feel warm or cared about, or something that you think is important that you need from your family, what would that be? Think about what could that be? What else is important in our families that helps us to grow? What do you think? If you have flowers, what else do they need to grow? They need rain, right? Or they need watered. You can make clouds, you can, with rain coming out of them, you could make a sprinkler, you could make someone holding a canister, whatever you want to do so that your flowers can get watered. What would that look like? And then I want you to think about, what would that be? What's something that you might not get every day or all the time, but something that you need in order for your flower to grow, for you to grow in your family? I need to let my paints dry a little bit, so I'm going to go back to my sun and I'm going to think, what does my family need? What do I need in my family for sun? Oh, I had too much water. I might have to use a marker. Drat. Sometimes things just don't work out like we thought, so I think I'm going to just leave that. My sun now has turned green because blue and yellow together make green. So I guess I'm going to have a green sun. It's kind of weird, but that'll be okay. Okay. What else do families need? So what I want you to do is think about each of the different things that your family needs in order to grow. And I want you to add them into your expressive art, into your picture that you've created. When it comes to rain, what do they need? What does your family need sprinkles of in order to grow? I'm going to try this again. I feel like it might be a bad idea. And you can do this however you would like. There's not a correct way. It's just thinking about the people in your family, what they provide for you, and what you provide for them. So sad that I ruined my sun, but it's okay. It's okay, right? I can always add more things. Oh. All right, I'm gonna have to use a marker. But this is what I'm going to do for now. So this is what mine looks like. Yours might look very different. But in my flowers are each of my family members, and in there we can add their names. If you want to add their names to yours, you can. If you want to make them bigger, I put patience because patience is something in the air that we also need. I put encouragement as sunshine. I put kindness as rain. And the foundation that I think is important in my family is love, because we have to love each other. And in there, I should probably add forgiveness too, because sometimes we hurt each other. And even as families, we have to be careful for that, because it's easy to be the meanest to the ones that we love the most. And especially when we're all tucked away and having to be with each other 24/7 all the time, sometimes it gets hard to be nice and to be kind. But in order for each of us to grow in our families, we need to do that for each other. We need to be kind to each other. We need to play games together. We need to try and find fun together. That's something else that I should add to my picture. Your picture never has to be complete. You can keep adding to it all the time, because as families, we grow and there's different things that we need at different times. So I hope you and your family had fun making this today. And I would love if you shared with me your pictures that you created. Have a good weekend.